All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special edition of the Consumerism podcast. Okay, today I'm with Titus Mutai in the building, you guy.
Yes. Sasa wanasikia makofi huko.
Cheki pa wanasikia makeos, you guy.
Nice one. Nice to be here, man.
Are you comfortable here kama hiyo pillow?
Naona hii pillow.
Naona inachuma.
Tutaichezea naye hapa.
Hapana, kama iko hapa. Kama iko nyuma yako usiweke hapa.
Sawa.
Ndio hii pillow ni ya kitambo, you guy.
Nyuma yangu.
Pause. You guys have you been? You guys tumepanga hii podcast for years, you guys.
Tumejaribu.
You guys you've been a very busy man.
Unajua kupata alignment.
Ni nini inafanya ukoe busy hivyo bana kwa hii Nairobi City? Ama ni maneno ya rent?
Kutafuta maisha. Kutafuta pesa.
Yeah. I think uko nao mingi, you guys.
Yeah? I like that you think that. That's a very good thing.
Yeah, bana, because you guys finding you is like finding Pat Pielo Lumumba.
But also maybe so, you know, for that other reason I told you, I had also been avoiding at some point because
okay. Yeah, because of some of the arrangements in your life.
Yes.
Okay.
Other arrangements that could not necessitate me appearing here and giving opinions.
In life and society.
Exactly. You give opinions.
Cheki, mbona ulionekana hapo? Yeah. I tell you what, I saw there was a time Arnold Xavier alikuja hii podcast. Alafu the next podcast nimeona ilikuwa mic check. So yetu alikuwa alikam amevaa kitisho mic check alikuwa amevaa suti. So I think when guys are dressing up for this podcast it will be serious, huh? I tell you why I thought about it. Leo nimeona anitwaje Victoria Kimani. Alikuwa mic check. Mzee amepiga makeup.
Luko kama kitu kingine akona simiti kwa uso.
I'm like, yo. But mic check at that level where
like kufika mic check pia unajua there is a level of prestige unasema.
Yeah, I think so.
Me I usually do my interviews at mic check.
But then again,
check by the way, hata Kisiangani podcast by the way, si ati kombali na hiyo mic check hivyo sana lakini
tuko mbali.
Unajua inategemea unaiangalia. Perspective is everything.
Yeah, true.
How are you looking at it? Lakini
tuko mbali but si ni wanoma.
So it's also good. Unaona at least mimi kesho nitaweka niseme nilikuwa Kisiangani podcast. Unajua hiyo ni credits to my name.
Yeah, true. I think it's
to
getting
my
there
512 followers on Instagram.
But also I was asking myself, it's not like I want guys to dress up. Me, I just want guys to be comfortable kwa pod.
Yeah.
I think that should be the goal. Like come as comfortable. What makes you very comfortable kuja hivyo. Kama ni t-shirt, kama ni bila shati, kama ni suti. Because that's I like someone to be their realest self when they're on the podcast.
I hear what you're saying, but there is two things. Unajua this podcast thing is ni biashara. You understand also. It's business. So kuna kitu inaitangwa branding. Unajua kama KCC wangesemanga tu hivi, si tunataka watu wakunywa maziwa wasione ile pakiti inakuja nayo. Brookside ingewagonga you guy in the market because people also go with perception. So there is something, let me tell you, there is something with dressing that actually attaches a level of seriousness people attach to you. If you turn, there is a way you're treated, the way you're dressed. So
it's called dress like you want to be addressed.
Exactly. Okay, that is a very common cliche, but it makes a lot of sense because I've seen people are very superficial. People who like to pretend they are very deep, they look beyond. But let me tell you, I promise you, a lot of people are moved by visuals. If I came here with a suit, hata ungeni respect, ungenipea tumbler kaiko kunywa maji, lakini sasa unaona huyu jamaa amekuja aje, unakuja na jeans.
Unasema hiyo na wewe umeitisha tumbler hiyo. You guys unani embarrass mbele ya sasa na wewe umeitisha tumbler. But I get what you're saying.
Yes.
I remember there was this guy called Kevin Samuels. Did you used to watch that guy?
Oh yeah. I watched him a little bit.
Me, I watched him on the day he died, you guys.
Oh really?
In the morning, you're live. Yeah. In fact, tulikuwa Mombasa hiyo time. Kidogo nasikia me dead.
Taking the last of the wisdom that he could dispense.
You guys, man. Alikuwa ananibambanga sana oh boy.
The way you used to embarrass chicks, like a lot of feminists have beef with that guy.
Feminists rejoiced when that guy died.
Yeah.
Because used to tell
that guy would place you in your place also.
You guy,
okay, let's assume Askia dem anasema, me I want a guy who wants 6-figure salary. And I'm okay, let's talk about you.
Yes.
For a moment, ignore the gentleman you want. Let's address you. Would a 6-figure salaried man want you?
No, he used to ask, are you? How do you rate yourself? Choose a number except you 8. And then dem anasema I'm a 9. So anasema, so you're on the same class as Beyonce. Alikuwa na list. Sijui Rihanna, sijui nani. So that if there's a man, high value man, atachana na hao wote akukujie. So yes, it's true, but
it's also not true.
No, as in technically speaking, but that's not the way you talk to chicks, you guys.
Yeah.
So it would rub chicks the wrong way. Because chicks, many chicks, I know I might get into trouble saying this. Many chicks sometimes, you know the way your wife or your partner can ask you, oh, unaona kama nimenona?
That's a very
so unaona how you answer that question in because yes, labda umeona amenona.
Do you know
but how you answer?
My favorite guy to answer that question is the Ugandan Minister for Finance. Have you seen that guy?
Yeah, the guy for
the guy for
the economy
is like, even when you know the truth, you must not tell all the truth all the time.
Yeah, true.
And then he has this analogy of, if my wife asks me for money, even when I have 1 million Uganda, okay, clearly 1 million Ugandan shillings also isn't that much. Like
I think it's like 5.
I wouldn't say 5k, ama?
Okay.
5 bob.
I think it's maybe like a
no, it's like 50k.
Yeah.
It's like 50k Kenyan shillings. So it's pesa kidogo.
Yeah,
but it says like, I can't tell the wife, and I'm like, is making sense to a particular point, not all the truth. People like to say we want the truth, but what they really mean is we want comfortable things. They don't want the truth.
Yeah, the truth is very hurtful.
The truth, man. Nimeambia ukweli mingi maisha.
Bana. And sometimes even you know they're true.
Unasikia tu alafu unasema, hey, nilikuwa najua lakini hata sikujiambia, wewe ndio unaona tu umeni.
Yeah, man, you guy. So Kevin Samuels alikuwa mswa kungara, you guy.
Yeah.
Alikuwa na verse.
I
don't know, you guy. I find him to be funny. Like
I promise you, Ted is not working to be a comedian.
No, but he says funny things.
Yeah.
So you're in the house masturbating and men outside. You know, you're getting that cheke you guy. Check, your problem is you're in the house masturbating and other men are outside working. Stop masturbating. So you get that really checkishes me. In terms of day-to-day life advice, I don't know, man. If
no, let me tell you, there is something to learn from that guy, and there is also a lot to ignore. But the one that gets me is the way he knows what the truth is. But this guy also knows I can say this nicely, but then he deliberately chooses the wrong way of saying it. So 80% of, if you listen keenly, you would usually disagree with how he's saying it, but if you really ask yourself what is he saying, 90% of the times is just there out to provoke. Wanaitanga rage baiting.
Oh yeah, rage baiting.
He knows how to, like, he knows, like, for example, if a girl was fat and you were trying to describe her, you could say she's a little bit nini, like healthy. They are nice, healthy.
You look healthy.
Yeah, there are euphemisms around it you can use to try and nini. But then he will say he's almost busting. and then he would immediately challenge you, isn't it that, or what do you have, like, he would challenge you to say that, for you to tell him that he's lied about that. And 80% of the times you can see what he's saying, you know exactly there is a better way of saying this, but he just goes for it. And partly that is how he's made a lot of his money. But
he also has, I think he appeals to white males, young white males.
A lot of males, not just.
I've never really, in terms of that manosphere thing, I've never really related with Andrew Tate on a, like, I've never been like, watch on and scare Andrew Tate. But I've ever really wanted to scare what Kevin Samuels had to say.
Oh, Kevin Samuels. Let me tell you.
And then I like when he starts arguing, where Mike usienge kando.
Sorry.
When he starts arguing with people, I also like it. Like, akianza beef na say Greta Thunberg, so they start to kanana, you guys find that to be hilarious, you guys.
You see, I actually stumbled on Andrew Tate because it was exciting to watch him speak.
Yeah.
Like you said, the guy is funny the way he says things.
Yeah. And then he's
and
also
then
very
sometimes
good
he says something so outrageous, you have to be joking. Like even you are doubting yourself. Like you have to be.
But what do you think about that character? Do you think he's all as successful as he paints himself to be? Because I feel like he poses quite a lot. The Bugatti, sijui, picha, mazee yako hapo bila shati, tattoo. Do you think he's financially?
The guy is rich.
Is he rich? Ama is a poser rich?
Let me tell you, I'm not doubting that he has a lot of money. But
from where? Nini University, the real world.
No. That guy, if you really look at what he did, he was in the betting industry.
I know he was in the video camera business. What are they called? Sex cams or something. I don't know.
Sex cams, and it made a lot of people a lot of money. Right now, some of the richest people in this town are in that business.
Yeah.
You just have your OnlyFans, and there are people who subscribe to you. And even in this Nairobi banner, what do you like? You think everybody? Nairobi is one of the capitals in Africa where to do that would get you money, and you would get away very easily with it.
Yeah, true, by the way. So do you think the guys who have places where chicks are stripping in front of phones?
Cameras? Yes, but right now you see it's been decentralized.
You can do it on your own in the
Exactly.
But most of these chicks don't have the setup. So a chick, you tell her.
I know people use studios. I know studios that do that.
Oh, for real, you guy?
Like, and I am not letting this out. I have a friend who has a studio somewhere in Kiambu Road.
Let's say Magadi Road.
Okay. Hata nikisema Kiambu Road, there are so many studios on Kiambu Road. You wouldn't know which one I'm talking about.
Kiambu Road near Runda, let's say that.
So sometimes I'm there hanging out with my friend, and then this chick comes at around lunchtime. She's like, I want to take a photo shoot, and she's requesting for 2 photos. So this guy says, I don't like taking this. She will pay the money, yes, so I can't chase her away. But the kind of work she wants me to do is where
because she'll have to maybe strip.
She does
get
a lot of that.
naked.
Exactly. And this guy has a studio. You can convert it into a house.
All right.
You want it to make it into a kitchen, it can be a kitchen. You want to make it into it can literally be anything you want to convert. And these ladies like to come and so they come and record themselves there, pay the money. They know they will upload it in their own platforms and make money.
Yeah?
Yes.
So guys will subscribe to their they'll subscribe to their OnlyFans and
yes, and
on Telegram channels.
Yes, and they make their own money. Even a lot of people on Instagram, they like a lot of ladies on Instagram who would post their and it's not ladies all the time, by the way. Some guys tu wamekaa huko wanachukua picha ya mrembo mwenye ameweka online. Anakuja anaiseti. Like the funny thing about all this business is that at the core of it is men who run it. But it's women, like it looks like a female. But with OnlyFans, you know what happens nowadays. You can independently go your way.
What do you mean?
So, for example, let me give you an example of the friend I'm telling you about. It's men who actually thrive from this business more than women.
Oh, okay. How?
Because in situations whereby, especially in the lower food chain.
Okay.
In the lower food chain. For example, that person who comes and then records her time, she will pay half of that money for the studio time that she didn't have. Yes. It's a man benefiting.
Yeah, true.
But the exposure is to the woman. So, in fact, like in this drive for feminism and all that kind of a thing, the funny or the tragedy of it all is that it's men who benefit more from the whole industry.
Oh, okay. Yes. How do you think men benefit from the feminism industry?
They do. I just gave you an example.
Oh, this one. No, feminism is different.
Let me tell you.
Feminism sees that move for fuck the patriarchy.
Exactly.
Women
can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
They are doing whatever they want.
So that means they are earning they formed their own ecosystem.
You see, ni kama freedom. When you make people free, so many other third-party industries benefit from it.
Okay.
So even for women to be able to go and say, I do Instagram live and or whatever, what do you call
OnlyFans
live, for example, and make money out of it. It's because the feminists have been allowed to do as they wish. In the past no woman would want to do that, partly because of the trauma associated with it, or the stigma associated with it, and that kind of a thing. So when you look at it, like, basically the bottom line beneficiaries of feminism are men who want to make money, because they convert it into a business, an industry. Let me tell you, who do you think benefits most from the use of what do you call makeup and stuff?
The guys who manufacture.
And do you think it's women?
Yeah, but it's some dude somewhere, man.
Exactly.
Who's korogaing? Some Tony Airo.
So
check it, Tony Airo akikoroga, you guys, the next portion, you guys.
And then so the whole idea is most of the theories or most of the ideologies that are being pushed are actually business people who figure out how do we social engineer a society
who become clients.
Exactly.
They become customers.
Exactly. So the biggest even for example, Rihanna owns Fenty, right?
Yeah.
But does she really own Fenty? She just owns the trademark. The production.
Is it someone who came? It's like Michael Jordan.
Exactly. It's an investor behind using her name and just giving her part of the nini. But the real money.
Yeah, you're right, you guy.
So when I realized, in fact, even this whole drive about consumerism.
Yeah.
Consumerism, we celebrate things that are useless nowadays. Mpaka saa hizi tunaanza ku celebrate Father's Day.
Yeah.
But when you really look at the people who benefit is the businesses.
Yeah. Because you have to buy something for your dad.
Exactly.
I feel like the most commercialized holiday is Christmas.
Yes, Christmas is the most commercialized. But coming up with like very closely is Mother's Day. Ni ile tu saa hii wameanza kurealize also, if we can make Father's Day as sentimental as the Mother's Day. By the way, it's also women who still celebrate Father's Day. A lot of men don't do anything on Father's Day.
Yeah. Like, we have never ever called anyone at happy Father's Day.
Or you have never been called by anyone.
Okay, man, I'm not a father. My toy died, you guys.
Man,
the other is that being wished. I normally wish myself. Check it. Happy Father's Day to me. Then I wake up on my WhatsApp status.
And you have Father's Day to me. But
I hear you. Have you ever read about the story of De Beers and a girl's best friend, a woman's best friend, the diamond? Like, so the diamond is not a rare thing.
Yes.
So now they manufactured this marketing gimmick where diamonds were called a girl's best friend in regards to when you're proposing to a woman, you have to propose with a diamond. Yeah. And diamonds are not rare. They just control how many there are in the market. But they're as common as kokoto.
But
okay, maybe not as common.
Not as common as kokoto, but yeah.
But they're not. It's not a rare thing. It's not like gold. But they manufactured an industry around that thing, such that any man who is worth their salt is proposing, they have to use diamonds.
Yeah. The funny thing is also, men, I'm not also absolving men from the collective stupidity in this whole scenario. Because, let me tell you, all you need to do is convince women to do it, to like it. Men will make the money to purchase it.
Yeah. They also say for stand-up comedy shows, if the women come through, the men will also start coming through.
In fact, that's not even, I know that to be a fact. Because women are more likely to take action. Men are more likely to react to women who have taken action. So a man is likely to come for a comedy show for the first time because a chick friend told her come.
Yeah.
And if they like it, they are likely to bring their own friends. But the initial recruiting people are women. And it's also because women like laughing. It's very therapeutic. You think women like going to church because they go and meet the Lord there? They have an opportunity to sing, laugh. But also there's a man there who they look up to. You guys, there's this pal of mine. So this guy used to date some chick hapo in they used to live together hapo inaitwaje hizo ma campo doms za madem wapi
hizo hapo tu just hapo near Nairobi Primary. I've forgotten the name of those hostels. So he used to basically stay with that chick. But now this chick every Sunday would wake up and leave. So this guy would be like, where is this chick going? because she'd say she's going to church, but he was convinced anaenda kukulwa na msee huko nje. So one day ati he also woke up and said twende pamoja. Ati that's how he said going to church. Can you imagine?
Insecurity.
You guys, that is crazy.
Have you ever been insecure, Manu? Like
many times, you guys. When I was married, I'd call my chick, she's not picking, you guys. Check it, my phone was in the bag. Alafu kuna siku aliniambia kwa hapo tunnel, you guys. I really went there to look for. Take me in tunnel, take
sniper hata unapia unataka kupata ndani
bana kigrindia
position man.
So mazeni nikampata hapo tunnel akaniuliza nafanya nini.
I don't know whether we can, you know, when you're insecure you are usually not even aware of your insecurity.
But it's a bad place to be.
If you became aware of your insecurity, you would hate the way you are acting, first of all.
No, but if I think about my own life in retrospect, I don't think I should have done some of those things. Like kwenda kutafuta mtu tunnel. You guys, if somebody is komongaing your mommy, I don't think there's anything you guys you can do to stop.
And I don't know kwa nini wanaume, like for women it's very easy to forgive a man who was cheated, but for men,
I heard somebody saying that because men imagine what's happening. So you imagine that member ingeing and thrusting. Check it. Check it. So at men think in images, but I don't know. Okay, she did. I don't remember what she said about chicks, but she said men reimagine. You guys can imagine a guy in a mission your chick. Alafu amemfanyia hiyo act.
The girl is thinking about the faith and faithfulness that you exhibited. Well, una imagine tarimbo.
Like ulipatia ujamaa the act. I see. But I think as you grow older, you become better in controlling those.
You know, I've talked to a lot of people who are married, and let me tell you, the more you grow in marriage, you realize sex is a very insignificant part of the.
Yeah, it's like maybe 2%, you guys. Huh?
Okay, maybe more than 2%, but it's a very insignificant part. I know people who are like, so long as I'm not shown, iyo kiburu, like you cannot control if your wife gives it out elsewhere, but so long as you don't get told, and she still respects you when she comes back home as the husband of the
like house. It's not blatant.
Exactly. You could suspect, but if she doesn't, do you know a woman could know you did it, but they will want you to confirm it for them to hear one more time from your own mouth before. Like if you cheated on your wife, she would want you to say, yes, I cheated, I'm a horrible human being.
But you guys saying that, you guys.
For men it's quite opposite. For men, I just need to suspect, and it is enough to cause the disco. It's enough to go make me even start thinking of marrying a second wife.
Suspicion, you guys. But men also have mad double standards, you guys. A guy can komonga during the day, then he goes and finds the chick, his wife or his chick has texted someone. I love a jam, you guys.
It's also because, what is, you know, if you think sex is the same for men as it is for women, you would fall into that trap. Men take sex like a man would have sex with somebody they don't even like.
Because their member is ever ready.
Yeah, because you don't need a lot of convincing anyway. As a man, you would do whatever it is that you want to do, like within a very short period of time. So women usually give you sex as a sign of I have accepted you as a person. Men, it's just because I have these nuts that need to be nutted out.
But the feminist movement is trying to change that, right? Like they also want to equally just be commongoed.
Yes.
Like they don't
think they want that. They want
it to be described as that.
The notoriety of I can do whatever I want whenever I want is what they want. But if you actually left them to do that, they would soon become unhappy about it.
You reckon?
Yeah.
You think so?
Not that I think so. I know so. On this one, I know so.
How do you know, you guys? What is your basis?
No. There is. Let me tell you. There is what makes a woman feel fulfilled as a woman, and there is what makes a man feel fulfilled as a woman. Those two things are not the same. Now, when you tell a woman to do what is opposite of what makes her fulfilled as a woman, and then you want her to be happy, she will be happy when she's doing it to demonstrate to you that I can do it. But you see, now she's not doing it because that is what makes her happy. She's doing it to prove to you that she can do it, to make and another thing is, like, listen to all women who have done that. There are plenty of women who've like been ratchet a couple of years and then listen to them once they get to their 40s, 50s, and they start talking about how they feel about their actions in the past. That is not to say women cannot have multiple partners. They can. Maybe
there's a way they can compartmentalize the feelings for each partner. Like, I have a friend there's a lady who's married, but sometimes bwanake amesimama tu pale like a stone throw away, and this lady is here telling this friend of mine how she loves him na anataka kumkomonga yake yote. So this guy told her, hey bana, me I have a girlfriend. Then she became very jealous of that new girlfriend of his, and yet she's married to some dude, you guy.
You see, that's why even like the thing about sex with women is, for them it's not a physical act. It's a spiritual thing for them. For men it's a purely ni kama kukojoa kwa mwanaume. But for men there are some chicks which it's more than just a bodily act. As in kama umenoki dem. I think it becomes more. Of course. Maybe what you're saying is, I'm not saying men are incapable of falling in love. I'm saying, like, for a man to engage in sex is not driven by love. It's driven by lust. It's driven by bodily desires. Oh, your members, exactly. For lust. For women, I have to really feel you like. See, now that's why dudes feel bad when your chick is komongwat. Exactly. Because you know she did not just give out another random thing. That's why it's very easy for a chick to forgive a man, because it's like, but he still loves me. There is nothing in his actions. For example, if a man cheats but still shows the wife or the girlfriend the same level of affection, that woman struggles to even leave this man, because in her head she's like, but he loves me. You know, the moment a woman has an idea that you love them, you love me, for her to depart from that idea requires something bigger than just some sort of external influence. And it has to really get to her at that level. But for a man, I don't know how to say it for men. We are just the basic. We were like sketches for creating human beings. Wild. Wild we were creature. Like sketches, because let me tell you, we are very rough. And have you ever told a man when you're sober, hey manze, mina kulove? A guy. Like, you will never find a man, or even confessing true feelings to a friend who you genuinely love like that. You will never find men doing that. And the reason is, for men, I think it's more rooted in their, you're supposed to be the person assuring everybody else. So you cannot be the one expressing vulnerability. But women like men who show vulnerability. But they like them temporarily. Yes, they'll never. And then now after a while, they go back to this other guy who is not like that, you guy. You sure? Okay, it's a very confusing arrangement. I think you're there for a chick. You're very good to her. You guys, you've basically submitted. You guys, nikona joke fulani naandika feminists and just regular men are the same. We're all looking for somebody to wash the dishes and to submit. So you do all those things, and then she goes for another idiot who treats her, roughly, you guys. That's why they say simps never win, you guys. There is this guy called Jacob Elliott. I don't know if you've watched him. No. He's a Kenyan. He's written some. Jacob who? Elliott. A Kenyan? Yeah. A white Kenyan? No. Hiyo jina litoa wapi, you guys? Kisumu City. These people don't play well. Jacob Elliott. I'm sure there is an Onyango Okinye somewhere. Lakini hapo haiwezi wekwa for branding reasons. But the guy he actually has a very good grasp of understanding of, like, this dynamic. Yes, this intersexual female dynamic. And he explains it in a way. He has a book he's written. I don't know what it is called. I'll check it out. Male female dynamic. Okay. But this guy, the way he talks about the way like women seek validation, it's not the same way men seek validation. And for a man to be validated, they just need to know they are respected.
Mm-hmm.
For a woman to be validated, they want to feel loved.
Yeah.
Now, a woman will tell you they are disrespected when the actual word they should be telling you is they are not being loved. So when you don't show love to a woman properly, you are disrespecting her. Next time you are showing love to a woman, when you are doing love to a woman and you don't do a good job, just know you are disrespecting that woman.
Oh, because that's how they interpret it?
No,
I used to have this chick who used to say... I used to have this chick who said all she wants is respect.
Yes.
But she was an ultra feminist.
She means all she wants is...
So I was like, I'm the one who wants respect. What are you talking about?
Yeah, all the one. Actually, men on the other hand, you just need to be honest to your passion, your true calling. Find out what it is that you are meant to do in this earth.
So what does that got to do with the woman?
No, the moment you focus on that, the woman will never leave you.
But Bill Gates aliachwa na bibi yake Melinda.
Different environment, different even context in that particular sense. Bill Gates aliachwa na Melinda Gates for other reasons.
Alikomoa ngenje.
Exactly.
How do you know, you guy?
No, but that is the claim.
Allegedly.
The claims. And then you know
you
are dealing with a woman at that particular point who is so empowered that they are not really a woman in the true sense of the word.
Oh, okay.
Melinda Gates is not a woman in the true sense of... You think she goes through the struggles those struggles are really managed to her. They are not a problem to her.
Uh-huh. Ibonge?
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Sema, hey! Ay, iko fiti.
Unanisikia? So, for example, Melinda Gates is... I wouldn't say she goes through the problems of a woman the same way Bill Gates. Those are... And you can never understand. And I'm not also saying that all divorces are as a result of that. Some divorces are as a result of other things. But generally speaking, when you find what your true calling is, a woman will find more comfort in a man who has a vision and a journey that they are pursuing than a man who comes to... who is... Like, if you don't have a sense of what you are meant to do, it's very easy to lose a woman. But when you have an emotional, social awareness of what you are supposed to, what your role in the environment that you exist in is, then you are likely to have women stick with you.
Oh, okay.
And women even will defend you in that particular case if you are playing that role very correctly.
How did we get to this conversation? There was something you were saying. You're saying a man should find his purpose.
Exactly. A man should find his purpose.
So maybe the chick should find you as you're already pursuing your purpose.
Exactly.
Like asikupate tu umekande.
Kama umekande, it's very easy to be swayed. In fact, let me tell you, if you've ever had a discussion with a woman, you will notice a few things. One of the things is they have a lot of ideas. So which one are we going to execute?
See, the one I'm comfortable with them?
No.
Which one?
The moment, you see, now, if you are relying on her for the ideas to...
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a problem, right?
Exactly, that's a problem.
Because that means you'll stop doing what you wanted to do and do what she wants you to do, more or less.
And then she will...
It's interesting you say that.
And then as soon as you do what she wants to do, she will change her mind about what she wants to do.
Yeah, she'll choke with you.
And
also.
now, if you insist on doing what she already decided we were doing, you are now becoming a problem. So the easiest way is find your purpose, meet a woman who will plug into your purpose and help you. Because the other thing is self-actualization. Like, even a woman needs to actualize themselves. And how do they actualize themselves? If they find women thrive in positions where they are in a useful role, like where they are put into a useful role. I know it's sounding off like I'm talking about how women should be treated or anything like that, but what I mean is, if you know where you are going and you are focused on where you are going, a woman will have very little incentive to come and tell you, let's not go there. She is happy to ask, what can I do to help you get there?
Yeah.
But when you don't know where you are going and you don't have a plan on, even to figure out where you are going, then you will stay with a woman and she will lose patience and she will start giving you ideas of what you do. And as soon as you start doing what she wants to do, she will lose interest in that and want you to do something else. So you will never do anything that is consistent in so long as you don't have an internal locus of nini.
You get there's this friend of mine who used to do graphic design, but that wasn't really his area, so he just used to dabble around it.
Okay.
And then he met this very loaded chick. So this chick decided she's gonna help this guy. So she would organizea madila hapa na pale. But you could tell this guy was because they ended up together, they got married, bought some land uko Limuru. But you could tell this guy was never like he was under the shadow of this chick, because now this chick always had to keep helping him. Anamwambia shika hii contract, fanya hivi. I feel like a guy needs to go through a certain struggle on his own.
Yes.
You see, if I meet a chick right now who comes here and buys for me 10 lights aninunulie pod hii ni gadget roadcaster atengeneze hapa you guy, like I think there's something that'll happen to me, you guy. There's a discipline you get for through going through it. So you get these things slowly by surely, but as in pole. Slowly but surely. You get. So you learn, you get your phone, you get your lights, you get your nini. So if at all the chick comes, maybe anakusaidia kudecorate hapo nyuma if she wants. Anakusaidia, she'll do, Manu, so we put some posters over here.
Yes.
So we put some neon lights.
Yes.
But now someone who comes and lifts you out of the process, I think it aborts something in your life.
It will be like, first of all, you will not even have 100%. Although, let me say, it's not to say that women, for example, you see, we run the risk of sounding like women cannot help a man. That's
no, me, I'm saying
that's not what we are saying. What we are saying is, for example, if I met a woman and I'm already a stand-up comedian, probably I'm struggling here and there to get corporate gigs and stuff like that. No. If I know that is what I want to do already, it's very easy for a woman to come and help me achieve that. But if I don't even know what I want to do with that, then it becomes difficult for a woman to, it doesn't make sense for me to introduce a woman to come and help me with that. So the idea is, you can be struggling, but you have a vision of where you are going. And a woman will plug in very comfortably.
But should there be a limit of the level of help?
The control of...
I think she can help
the
you.
Control.
I tell you, like, for instance, let me use this pod, for example. Maybe how I'd appreciate help is maybe... Because women have...
Munasikia nyi women. How we would appreciate help.
Ikeuzuria pod ikona like 10% women.
That wanaume tu anasikia hapa na tuambie tupe podcast, wacha kutuomba vitu hapa.
So you guys, you're scaring. I don't know, like okay, I don't know even how to explain what I'm saying, but these maybe allow in quotes to wake up and go to work. Right? Don't start saying we cuddle all day. You get what I'm saying? Like, know how important it is for me to come here early in the morning.
Yes, it's very important.
To upload my podcast, to shoot it, to edit it. And then sometimes I'll stay very late in the night. I might be sitting outside there with my friends, but I'm planning, you guys.
Yeah, planning.
Like, don't start saying, kuja kwa nyumba mapema. No. Right now we're in the building stage. So, appreciate that and let me build, okay? There's a guy who was here, Josie.
I feel like that was a very personal request.
Yeah, it was.
So
there's a guy here, Josie, who said his wife really helps him in his biashara.
Yeah.
Umse anauza handas juice. So he's saying she brought in, I don't know what exactly she did, but maybe they found some.
No,
but also maybe me,
I'm
speaking out of
that one. You see, this is a guy who was already on to something. I know I want to grow this juice business. So the woman was just, and let me tell you also something else. The Bible uses a very interesting word to describe a woman in the context of a marriage: a helper. A helper means if the work that is to be done is 100%, a helper cannot be doing more than 51% of the work Does that make sense?
Yeah, true.
So if you want to be helped, at least take up 70% of the job. Somebody will help you with the 30%.
Yeah.
That is why the word is helper. It's not like a random thing.
Yeah.
It cannot be helper and then she's doing 100% of the job.
Not founder.
Exactly. So I think also maybe sometimes it's also understanding the nuances to the words the Bible chooses to use.
Yeah.
Or the religious books.
But I wonder why I didn't work with that friend of mine and the help, because the chick was a good chick actually. But this guy seems he couldn't receive the help.
I don't know. See, let me tell you also. You see, when I come here and tell you about my story of how I struggled, I'll paint myself as I did everything correctly. There is a context that's usually missing on what.
So maybe this guy didn't.
There is a part of the story, exactly, of course. Or you expect everybody to come in here and tell you 100%. Just because it's Emmanuel Kisiangani podcast bwana, si ati watu wanakuja kumwaga hapa mtama. People saa ingine unaongea hapa hivi na kuna mtu anawatch anangojea tu nyumbani nifike. So useme Kenya ulikuwa ukisema kwa podcast.
But you guys may think I'm not communicating what I'm thinking properly, you guys. I'm saying there's I don't think a guy, you meet a chick, for instance, you now in your career. I don't feel like there's a chick who can come and just pour resources into your life. And then you become suddenly a meeting Titus Mutai with a Benz. I'm like, how the heck did you get these Benz? Like, you've not worked for 6 months. But it's someone who's been pouring their own money from wherever they made it. I feel like there is something you should do yourself to get to a certain level. I'm not saying you shouldn't date a chick who has more money than you, but in terms of someone investing in your gift, you see, like an athlete, Eliud Kipchoge, there's no one who can help him to be good. He has to wake up and go and run. Yeah?
There are people who help Kipchoge to be
No, yeah, but it's up to him to wake up and train.
Responsibility is up to him. I get what you're saying.
She can maybe help you wake up. Like Michael Jordan's wife. Michael Jordan's wife used to wake up early, make sure this guy wakes up at 5, and I'm taking a drink, and then sends him to the basketball court. But you see, it was up to him to be at the court every day to practice. All right. But sasa kaa udem angekuja, I feel like if you meet someone at their own time, it can sabotage the process you have to go through to reach a certain level of success. You'll plateau.
That's very true. You also know, let me tell you, you are the average of your influence. Like, that thing whereby you are the average of your 5 friends. If you really look keenly, your 5 closest friends, if you look at your life and their lives, they are usually in the same place.
Yeah.
That theory is very true. You are the average of 5 of.
But what does that do with what we are talking about, you guys?
No, it's basically what you're saying.
What am I saying, you guys?
I was saying, like, you have to help yourself.
Oh, okay.
So if the most important person in your life is, like, it's basically what I just told you about. You cannot be helped if you don't have the agency.
Okay, so maybe
the agency is with you to help yourself, so that anything that comes over and above becomes an addition to what
because you're already doing
exactly. But
so demani buy a roadcaster.
Akununulia hiyo because you're already doing podcast. Hiyo anunua. Sununua the podcast alafu tuacha hivi.
You guys, there's another guy I know, I hope I watches him upon naongelea you guys kwa podcast. So this guy met this chick who's very successful, So they moved to a very nice hood. You guys, the guy moved in with her in her house.
That's a mistake.
And then
that's a big mistake.
Then they got married. So the marriage is going on well. Okay, it has some hiccups up on the pale. But I feel like this guy hajai fikia his true potential. Like that thing sabotaged him, you guys.
It's impossible to fikia that potential. You know why? The moment you see your potential comes, all men experience their potential when they are put in adverse positions.
You guys hold that. I feel like this light is not at 100%.
1 hour later. Even yani tumeongea kwa giza all that time. You guy, you need a producer.
You look dodgy.
Mununu mtume huyo pesa ujabane dwe.
You know what?
Alikuwa mweusi the whole podcast.
Why we are not seeing each other? Check me. What's wrong with my eyes? So what are you saying? I was talking about how that guy ajafikia his true potential.
Let me tell you, how do you unleash your full potential? You need to push to in adverse positions to actually bring out that nini. Now, this is a man who has all the potential, but that potential has never been required, because what do you want? What do you want that potential to be used for? The guy is already comfortable, so
that's the thing.
That's so he will never know what he was capable of.
Yeah, but I think that's a waste.
And that sometimes requires you to put yourself in. It's basically understanding where you are, and then put yourself in positions that challenge you.
But can you put yourself in an uncomfortable position and yet your life is already comfortable?
If you know what the comfortable position is taking away from you.
David Goggins style, huh?
I don't know the fuck that.
You don't know David Goggins? That girl says, "Stay hard."
I don't know.
There's another guy who runs ultra marathons. Kuna siku ali faint katikati ya race, He was doing this 100 kilometer marathon thing in the desert, So in the middle he got sick, fainted, he had to be dashed to Hosi, So when he was in Hosi akapona, akarudi hiyo place alikuwa mgonjwa, akaendelea you guy. The marathon was over. Yeah, but now he's of the mindset of I gotta finish this shit.
That sickness.
No, he's very successful.
No, I get it.
As in, he inspires guys. He inspires guys.
Not sick.
He inspires guys. Okay, yeah, it's a level of self-delusion.
Let me tell you, there is
because it's crazy to me.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, how do you do that? He's trying to prove a point.
No, I feel like his inspiration is you can actually do more.
Yeah.
You can do more than you think you can do. That's what he's doing for people.
I agree to a large extent. Me Kenya najuanga ni right now. If you really wanted to know how good I am in my job, you just have to put me in a situation whereby there is a lot at stake, including that job itself. And times and again I've shown that whenever you put me into like on the wall, when you think hapo ndio nimefika mwisho, I just unleash a new level.
Okay. Oh, it withdraws the potential from you to perform.
But when I'm comfortable, it's very difficult. For example, if you give me a target for, I'm in business development a lot of the times. If you give me a target for sales and I meet that target, trust me, there is no incentive for me to work hard beyond that target.
If you just say that again.
If you give me a target and I meet that target, there is no incentive for me to work.
So after you hit the target, you relax.
Exactly.
So what happens? You have to keep changing, upgrading the target.
Have to change.
But me, I'm still wondering about this. If you're in a position where you're with someone who makes you feel comfortable and losing out, like for example, do you think this guy who's dating Betty Charlo can fikia his true ultimate potential? Okay, I don't know him, but just using the things on social media, like him riding in her Benz, you don't think that thing can sabotage his true potential?
It can. You know what it does, Nini? There is a reason why people like Betty Charlo, for example, go for such kids. That guy has no opinion that is worth that Betty Charlo can stop.
Because she's seen it all.
I have a lot of jokes about Betty Charlo. The point I'm making is that guy has no opinion that she can put across, and Betty Charlo honestly respects. If she respects it, it's because she probably agrees with it. But the day Betty Charlo has a differing opinion and this guy has a differing opinion, I promise you, unless there is something else.
But he can withdraw his member.
You think that guy is being there because of a member?
Yeah, you guy, you can tell that chick he won't komonga if she does not nini.
No, cooperate. I'm sure the member.
Cheki sita kukomonga leo wewe. Cheki Betty Charlo. Okay, darling.
No, I don't think kukomonga is the thing. I think it's the commitment, the innocent commitment of a man. You see, these are women who have been frustrated wameonyeshwa mambo.
na nini society
na wanaume kama watu. Joe amefanya yake hapo. Denis Okari atujui story yake ilikuwa
nini, lakini kuna mwingine anaitwa nini Nick Ndeda.
Kulikuwa na mwingine Muislamu Somali guys sijui nani. All those people, let me tell you, they never left just because they were good. They left damaged.
Oh, okay. You reckon?
I don't like it's common sense. What do you mean?
Like how have you come to that conclusion?
That's the likely conclusion. And then when you see the next behavior is picking an 18-year-old boy, that is the behavior of somebody who has been shown things by men.
Like you just want to
so you want to go to a place
a level of control.
Yes. Basically, Betty Chalo is the man in that relationship without the dick.
Yeah.
The dick is with the kid.
Yeah. I don't know what. Because sasa unaweza mwambia let's meet at 6:30 p.m.
That kid cannot tell you niko na plan nyingine gani hiyo niambie nisikie.
Yeah, true.
But he would do you think he will ask Joe
yeah, let's meet at 6:30
unafanya gani nini 6?
Yeah. Kuja nyumbani acha ujinga.
For you know, Joe could be in Dubai at 6.
Yeah, true.
And at 7 it's 7 in the morning. So you get my point. The point when you see women going for those younger kids, it's the excitement of I still get the package of a man, but a man who I totally control.
Yeah.
That kid enjoys the privileges of being around the lady Betty and stuff nini, and going to all these nice places without necessarily having to afford it, even if he could afford it.
Yeah, that's true. And that's what I was saying, that thing can screw you up for life.
Exactly.
Unless you just are more me and my guy will just be cool.
That's the incentive. And then let me tell you, that other kid, the day that kid gets to a mature level also where he needs to feel like he's a man as well. Because let me tell you, you can only control a man when it's worthwhile. Or when it still makes sense for him. Let's say, for example, tomorrow he starts making money himself, his own money. Or maybe, I'm talking about this so ignorantly. Let me not spend a lot of time talking about
No, so you guys know this is a comedy podcast.
Oh, yeah. So, but the idea is, I'm assuming this kid, probably, even if he's from a well-to-do family, he does not have the resources Betty Carlo makes available.
Yeah. Especially to you directly.
Exactly.
Because unaweza jipata Seychelles kesho asubuhi.
So at that level, let me tell you, there is a point where this guy will be able to afford all that nonsense.
I want not necessarily.
And why at that point would he listen to what Betty has to say? But this is what money gives you. Money gives you the right to have an opinion.
Yeah, and then the option of choice.
Exactly. But when you don't, right now, Betty feels very comfortable with that kid because I still get a boy. I tell him, he does exactly what I tell him without question. Because this kid defers everything that is. Well, do you think they are talking about an investment? Alafu anakuja anaambia Betty, nataka kununua shamba nini? Whose opinion is likely to prevail under those circumstances? Si Betty mwenye amechukua malon kadhaa amekuwa threatened with auctioning a couple of times.
And she's
not that
survived.
I'm saying Betty has been threatened with auctioning. I'm saying she is a mature person who knows what loans.
I think she actually has been threatened with auction, you guy.
I don't know.
Flair by Betty unajua ilipitia.
Flair by Betty.
Kuna siku nilikuwa huko juzi by the way. It's now sijui Grace something. It's actually a very nice manor.
By the way, they had another. It was a collaboration with somebody else before.
No, they were collaborating with another chick I was with in high school. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, Susan. I was with her in high school actually. She was a year behind me. A year or two. Yeah. In fact, there's a friend of mine alikuwa na mkati yanga anaitwa Kiev. Wase wanamjua kwa ifod. But Kiev alichujwa, you guy.
Kwa nini?
Could not bring anything to the table. You guy.
The man was the table himself.
But anyway, I'm kidding. It was just a high school fling. And then now the next thing I'm hearing, she got married to some guy also who was a friend of mine. And then they co-sanad. Then she started that thing.
Because she had money, huh?
Punk. Huko Kaprak. Kulikuwa na mapunk lakini si kila mtu alikuwa punk, you guys, man.
You guys were punks.
But you guys
the average poor person in Kaprak is punk.
No, kulikuwa na wase wa nini Kalenjin la nuko ndani, you guys. Tot. Unajua place inaitwa Tot.
I know all those places. Okay. But I can promise you even then they were the well to do in Tot.
Maybe I've never thought
baba yake alikuwa na ng'ombe mingi kuliko kila mtu.
Yeah, maybe mazi. But you guys, that aside, you guys, you know we've never been together kwa hii podcast, eh? Yeah. I think tumepiga moja huko Mombasani.
Ile tukiwa wakati tulikuwa tunafanya ile tours regulars. Unajua mimi I used to enjoy going out of Nairobi.
It used to be like a nice break, eh?
Yeah, going out of Nairobi.
And then all expenses paid, so it was even more fun.
Siku hizi manze ukienda Mombasa unaenda ukifikiria mashida
tukana. Now you guys, because me normally go to curate shows pale makazi, eh? So kitoka tu Nairobi unajua 40k imeenda. Cheki mimi nikifanya hesabu, cheki 40 minus 32. You get unarudi Nairobi.
Tickets ujui ni ngapi?
That's what I'm saying that. Because unarudi, maybe you go and make 37,000 at the door, and then your expenses are like 45k, you guys.
It's annoying.
So you need, I don't know how you can sustain that.
We need to revive that thing, eh?
I'm still, I've not given up.
What I'm finding difficult with comedy, eh? We spew opinions, and corporates hate opinions. Like my experience even trying to pitch is you go and talk to somebody and they are so worried about what if a comedian says something that is so outrageous.
That's why us guys can't survive.
And I'm like, that's why people need to understand, or that's what I say, that's why people need to understand it's comedy. You cannot take comedy out of context and then catch feelings over it.
Yeah, true.
Unless you don't understand what comedy is, then, because that question is very wrong.
Like Juzi, we were doing some meeting for the roast, eh? So some chick who's not even a comedian, she's a staff. So she's saying, no, because we were supposed to do the roasts of Kamenegoro, but it was postponed. So she was saying, we can't sexualize her. So that joke which is sexualizing her. So I was like, manzejo. You guys, the reason the audience is gonna come there
is because of
they want
sexualized
blood.
Jokes. You think they are coming to watch Kamenogoro? People who are going there to watch
it's not a therapy.
Roasted about his
you guys,
his baby mama. You think Kamenogoro is on record talking about 27 men? Body count.
So how do you just ignore
5
that?
5 years ago. Since then, she's been doing well.
So like, guys, I had to
we are
really
right to approximate right now. Kama alikuwa 27 5 years ago. Ako 75.
Ako married, you guy.
Okay, alimarried last year. The point is we can sexualize. We can sexualize. Okay.
So I had to really, be a bit stern with that chick. I told her, look, if you want a good roast, you're gonna drop this line of thinking, because guys are here for blood, and that's why I'm getting what you're saying about corporates and to do watu watasema nini. I feel like if we can get a corporate who
just
knows,
need to get out of their fields. Wacha kukua tu nini. You are behaving like this government because this government is the only government and unaweza feel like they have sensitive ears.
But they choose what to hear.
Like Kibaki would ignore people bana for ages. Munataka Kibaki akuja address Kenya, munasema mimi sitaongea kuhusu hiyo mambo. Na wale wanataka kuongea wakwenda huko.
And that's
it's also a very leftist thing, eh? It's like people who are left leaning in terms of
I get it.
And ideology.
Yeah.
Everything is too fragile. I've had a joke. There is that joke I usually do about. I have 2 jokes that are very controversial. I'm still struggling doing them. Even when I do them, I have to really be careful in front of an audience. One is about feminism, and I just say the idea that I was brought up in the village, but now I live in Nairobi, and one of the very first things I quickly realized when I came to Nairobi was that you cannot come with your attitudes from the village and try and navigate life in Nairobi with those attitudes, because you will hardly get laid. All the women are
so you have to adjust.
Yeah. So and then I usually say, because I quickly had to reconfigure. The only problem is I know how to behave to be feminist compliant, and I also know how to violate. So it usually matters in when do I need to put on the feminist compliant character, and it's basically this.
So what does that joke do? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
It depends on the audience. If the
it depends on how you deliver it.
Yes, kinda.
Huh?
Kinda. But
because such a joke, there's you can just miss one word and it will change the whole mood.
Everything like.
It's so, like my joke about Big Mama.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works. Sometimes guys are like, no, it's you're
punching down.
Yeah.
So I did that joke one time, and she was like, "Oh, another one is that people pay for upward mobility in the corporate world, and women just give up their pussies for that. Men pay money to get upward mobility in the corporate world. Women give up sex."
Hey, but you guys even that one, do you say it like that?
You know, the funny thing is, I wish it was not true.
So you're saying it is true, you guys?
Yeah.
You're basically saying any woman who's gone up the ladder.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, as in that's what I'm saying.
That is not
when you say it like that, you're basically saying any woman who's climbed the corporate ladder.
You put for me any. I didn't use the word any and woman.
But umesema their pussies.
No, I said there is that.
You've said?
Like you know, I know what you're trying to do, but if you really listen to what I was saying is the concept of people giving up pussy to get upward mobility.
I get it. Yeah,
is there.
Yeah, it's there.
I am not making it up.
Even Marx and all that.
It might not be all the women who go up in the corporate ladder go through that, but it is there. If you wanted people who go up through that, they are there.
Yeah,
plenty of them to be. And then the other idea is people actually paying money to get a promotion. Yeah,
or to get a job.
Exactly. Now, I say that because I've never had to do any of those two things. But I've actually experienced people, and I got this quite late in my career, like where somebody comes and tells me, "Hey man, you know, I was trying to help this girl, kupata kazi." And this is somebody talking about, like, I was trying to help this girl kupata kazi.
Someone is telling you now.
Mimi nimempeleka hata mpaka kwa mkubwa. Alafu anaitishwa vitu anakataa. Alafu anakuja kupea vijana hapa kwa barabara tu wenye wampeleke.
Oh, for real?
And then, so I even have a joke on that one as well.
So what does that do?
That one, I found a way of adequately
delivering it.
Exactly. But ilikuwa ikiniletea shida. One lady came and told me, "You are talking about women being asked for sex so that they can get jobs. You know, you are saying that because you're not
perpetuating."
And I was like, I don't wish I was the person benefiting from the sex, but I wish what I was saying wasn't true.
Yeah.
Because, in fact, even what I told that lady was like, don't get offended with the fact that I spoke about it. Get offended with the fact that it happens.
Oh, okay.
But if you are just coming to address me because I spoke about it, what I'm doing is I'm shedding light on it.
Yeah,
if it's not in my ability to go and arrest, if I had that ability, but my ability is to shed light using comedy, somebody else can pick it up and go and deal with that, and there are people who deal with that. But the whole or the long and short of what I was trying to say is those realities exist. And they are very much with us.
You guys mean nasikia kunyora. I'll be back.
Podcast bwana. Acha nikunywe maji. Tumemaliza 1 hour, you guys.
Yeah, man, tuendelee you guys. Tuko karibu kumaliza. Tuendelee.
Mama tusiendelee.
So you guys, Manzi, I was asking you about your comedy journey, you guys. How did you flip from being a biashara guy to getting on stage? Nini liku inspire?
It was a very interesting thing because a huge part of this has to do with Doug, but also the environment. You see, comedy sounded very difficult for me when I saw Doug doing it. You guys were setting up stuff around there. And the funny thing is, when I started seeing people going up on stage, I figured out I could actually do this. Because artistically, I had been artistically driven from the past. Because I used to perform plays, I did traveling theater kiasi.
Oh, for real?
So I knew it is not beyond my ability to develop the skill. But now I didn't have the guts and the incentive to go on stage.
Did you ever feel pressure of people will think you're copying your bro?
I felt that, but I also knew that is not really a problem that I have to deal with, because it's the ability. You see, if you copy somebody, the ability is going to distinguish.
Because everyone else is, because we're all copying someone somewhere.
So the ability. If I was copying him and I didn't, and I would be lying if I said I wasn't copying him. You understand? So there is nothing wrong with me even saying I didn't copy my brother. The only problem I think I had, okay, I've just said my brother.
You did
not. I did. But when I saw people going on stage, at some point I was like, it's not beyond me to do this.
So then, what was your first show, by the way?
That was a very interesting one. I tried coming for the Monday workshops when you guys were still doing at the Blues. And I had a very interesting thing with Tai, where Tai introduced me and then he roasted me and we didn't know each other, and I was like, what the fuck, who does he think he is?
Natai alitupata up.
Why is he talking to me like that?
You were upset?
Very upset.
Ukweli?
It got to me. I became very insecure about it. Nobody had ever told me.
Did he roast you before or after you're done?
It roasted me after I was done on stage.
Oh, okay.
And then it made me rethink ever wanting to go on stage.
And
comedians.
Did you bomb Mama Uli? How did the performance go?
No, there was nothing even wrong. Like, I just did like enough. I spoke for like 3 minutes. I had thoughts, I had ideas. The only problem was when Tai came, he roasted me, and I took it too personally.
Oh, okay. Like Nani. Do you remember this guy? I've even forgotten his name, you guy. There was this guy who used to come and record our videos.
Lameki?
Not Lameki. There was this comedian who had a camera. Do you remember that guy?
He used to be a friend of Onjoro.
Yeah, that guy. What's his name, man?
John something.
John? I've forgotten his name. But that guy, that guy, he came for a comedy show where we were in the audience. There was Murumba's sister. It was very few guys. It was maybe like 7 people in the audience. It was one of our first shows which failed up at Blues. But I remember I was one of the... I think I was the host. So we roasted this guy. I roasted him about, because his beats used to be based on the news. So I remember saying, me normally come to the comedy club to know the news from this guy. So we roasted him, other comedians roasted him. That guy never ever came back, you guys.
Because of the roasting?
After that show, he never ever came back.
Me, I thought he went because after Brian Onjoro kind of left, I thought he was, because I saw him do a couple of
Onjoro shows. No, he only would go to Onjoro's show. You get, but he never ever come. He never ever till today came for our shows, you guys. So me, I feel like sometimes I feel guilty.
The same thing.
So I feel guilty, like maybe I helped crush his.
The only other thing
dreams.
That's an occupational hazard. Roasting in comedy is something I had to quickly get accustomed to. But when I was roasted, it took me, COVID struck in immediately. So I took another 2 years before like ever stepping on that stage. Because I think I was...
I'm worried about
I think I was roasted in...
technique.
I think I was roasted in 2019. And then 2020 COVID happened and I was like, that's a good excuse. 2021, I just didn't do comedy. I was still on the background. And then 2022, I remember... there was a time we were doing Mayura and there were very few comedians. I think it was Doug. I don't know if it was you and Aman and Darren. Darren just came and told me. So Darren had been seeing me like conversing with comedians huku nje nikicheka now. And he would tell me, why can't you go on stage? And I was like, So this day there were like 5 comedians only. I had written the list because I was the showrunner. And then he told me, put your name down there. I was like, no, I'm not ready. And he's like, then he told me something that gave me a different perspective, that inserted urgency was like, can you look around here? Do you know how many people just want to have the access you have so that they can go on that stage? You have all the access you want.
You have the power.
You just refuse to go on that stage. And you're a funny dude. And I was like, funny dude? I don't even understand. I don't think I'm funny. I know I claim to be funny because by the way I used to be very funny with my stage plays. I would just, even if I had an unfunny character, I would make it funny.
Oh, okay.
Whenever I used to perform. So when he told me that, I took it more seriously. I didn't go on stage that week. But I promised him that I would go next week.
Oh, okay.
So I went the next week.
Okay, shout out to Darren, you guy.
Darren Collins. So I went the next week, and then Shiko was hosting at Mayura. Mimi nimekuja nimejipanga. Darren had given me one trick. You don't have to be funny. Just if you get people to laugh one joke, get off stage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was the theory around that. And then I went on stage. Shiko introduces me. This guy is trying his hand for the first time. He's been doing comedy. He's been helping with running the shows. Give him a run. So guys were so warm when I went on stage. And then I took the microphone. I was like, thank you very much, guys. Like you've heard, my name is Titus. And the crowd went nuts.
Oh, just with your name?
I said, my name is Titus. Now, remember, I've been told, ukienda stage, if you tell one joke and people laugh, don't try and fight.
Yeah.
Talk a stage.
Yeah.
And we want to thank you very much. That's been my time.
For real, that's it.
And then now the next week is when I went and rethought about that joke, Titus, rewrote it into what it is.
Oh, okay.
So I rewrote it. Initially, when I went on stage, I didn't have that joke, and then I was like, okay, maybe this is something.
Because you saw a response, huh?
Yes. I saw a response that was overwhelming.
You get that joke.
And it saved me. It saved me performing for 3 minutes to saying nothing.
Yeah. But I normally like when I'm on the same show with you, because I know I'll ngara with that story of time.
Man, I hate it. Right? But then I'd say, you remember at the roast when I came, sijui ilikuwa roast ya 8 niliperformingi at the hot set. I wanted to be like, by the way, don't allow this guy to come and tell you the Liners joke. Oh, okay. But I wanted to like denatch.
Oh, you wanted to perform it before
ukuja ungaria Liners. But
no,
it's actually
but I think you've really grown from those days. I was actually pretty impressed when I've been watching your journey since that time. Because mimi nimekuona ukiwa hapo kwa mlango.
Yes.
And then now I see you killing it. You also really kill it on the debates, you guys.
I think the debates is where I find my true element. Because first of all, I like engaging with ideas. I like having positions and opinions and stuff like that. I was telling Aman was telling me I like to rage bait people. Like sometimes I just say things to provoke an argument. Not because for me it's a pastime. It's a good, unaona venye tunaweza ongea tu futa nini ama venye boys can be around talking about madam nini. For me that's how arguments are. Although I'm also growing older and I'm starting to realize I like arguments, but I don't like being in arguments.
Oh, okay. I don't like know. the emotion around it, huh?
Yes, but the idea of actually challenging an idea, like unpacking it from all angles, challenging it, listening, like playing the devil's advocate until you have a solid story from the other side, that kind of thing, like stimulates my mind a lot.
Oh yeah, but you guys really do well. Do you guys get? Have you done a debate lately?
The last debates I did were last year.
Oh, did you stop on purpose or what happened?
No, it was just taking a break because we were like.
So it's not like you said you don't want a debate right now.
No,
it's just the debates have been reduced.
Yes, the debates have been reduced. Kwanza, partly because of the writing around it, and then if you noticed also. I didn't also want to form a singular dynamic. I don't want to just argue with Ruth alone. I want to be able to debate different people. I don't want it to go.
Why do you think comedians like doing that? Like, I understand it, yes, but I wonder the mentality behind it. That one off. Like, I was hanging out here with Jack Alita. So he was saying that he didn't want to be known as the Matatu jokes guy. So he's trying to post other things. But not even if he posts other things, ingine ndio inaenda you guy. Do you think we are too much of purists?
That for me, it's not really being a purist for me. The idea for me is the utility of a character. The moment you box yourself into a character, your utility becomes different. So that even when you play another role, people are so used to you in one particular role. Exactly. But if you are able to play in different roles and play them successfully in different environments, which I feel like I've sufficiently done. I think I've carved myself a niche as a comedian, a stand-up comedian, independently. I have also carved a niche for myself in the debates as one of the, in fact, I headline all debates. Basically. So you see, that's what I want. I want to be able to be distinguished like that. I was saying there is a show I performed in, and the Business Daily covered it, and I really liked the review that guy gave about
Stanislas.
Yes, Manthe, a very good guy by the way.
Okay, shout out to Stanislas. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name properly.
You're trying.
Stans 4.0 on Instagram.
So he gave a very good review, and I liked it because it was it responded to what I've been trying to do. He had known me from the debates, and he expected me to go on stage and do a very political set.
On the day now you're doing stand-up.
Yes.
Okay.
So he'd seen my clips on the debate, which had gone viral, and he was thinking, maybe I can, like this is a very politically inclined guy. And then I went on stage, and then I gave him pleasantly a surprise, another side that he didn't know.
No, that's dope.
Existed. So when he wrote it, and I was like, now this is exactly what I like. As opposed to if I had been gone there, people know I just only do political jokes.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm starting to realize also, I'm actually getting a very good niche with political jokes. Because there is a few sets I've been writing in the last couple of months that are political, and the audience are responding.
I told you to do your impression in any part of your sets, but umelalia your advice, you guy.
Impressions,
your impression, yeah. But there are some you already good at, kama hiyo ya Wetangula.
I'm
check him number 3 in command.
Wetangula.
I think you should write. Why are we shouting him out, you guy?
For being a good material.
A source of material.
The third in command.
You get number 3 in command. Check him number 3.
The third in command. Sisi watu wa Pongoma.
Check sisi tutaingia wote. I mean,
Murkomen is the one I feel like is really is struggling to be in that position.
Which one?
Murkomen.
Number 3 in command?
No, like to be a minister.
Oh, okay.
Like you can see him working very hard to be a minister, and you're like, dude, you're overworking.
Because you're already a minister, right?
Exactly, but he's really working hard to even, there are people, unaona Matiang'i, and I don't like the guy by the way, but I am just saying this. When he was minister, he didn't have to work hard to be.
He had an aura around
exactly. That's the word I was looking for. Aura. There are people who don't have aura.
Even Nani had the aura thing. Michuki
had the aura. Even Kindiki, to a large extent, he tried.
Kindiki.
To a large extent in the ministry, not in the deputy
Which
president
ministry?
Is in the defense, like
security.
In security.
When did he have the aura, you guy?
At least let me tell you, there was a sense of, you could see the police were in control. Since Murkomen took over, you guys, the police, it's like you can almost feel the palpability of it. You see, Kindiki never used to. Right now, the police are in the media because Murkomen puts them there. Kindiki,
but their actions too.
But you see,
are you trying to say the back stops with
exactly, and he exacerbates. You see, whenever Murkomen talks about the police, now we have to hashtag the police tomorrow the whole day.
Bad, it makes
the whole day. But at least with Kindiki, you would see mtu amearestiwa, and then there is no drama around police. You never saw people like confronting police during Kindiki's time as much as they are doing right now, especially from last year. Like Nini, I feel like maybe we have a long way to go, but that's the long and short of what
I remember him saying during his speech. First, I think he was trying to portray some sort of we are in charge. His speech, Juzi, Munaskia!
Nani?
You remember Josie when Murkomen was saying?
No, that's the nonsense I'm talking about.
When you're selling cops that piga risasi, and then he said,
Munaskia! That's what I'm saying. He's working too hard.
What do you mean Munaskia?
Do you know why that's what I mean by he's working too hard. You see, a minister, let me tell you, what Murkomen said could have been said, but you didn't have to create all this ulabalu. The law says kuna provisions on inasema police officers can use firearms. Why can't you tell people, I'm giving firm instructions to the police officers that anybody who approaches the police station with an intentions of causing harm or destroying property will be dealt in accordance with the law.
Oh, okay.
But then you have like you understand? Like there is a way you could say that statement, deliver the same message. But now when you say piga risasi, it's like you're excited being in that position.
Yeah, true,
you just enjoy talking about risasi kupigwa nini.
Then he keeps saying mnasikia.
Do you see now what I'm talking about?
Man, I'm like, what's
That's
wrong
when I say he's struggling to be a minister, yet he's already been made a minister.
Yeah.
He's struggling to fit in his skin. This is not the place this guy should be. He should be taken elsewhere. Maybe senator agitate. Hata sports was.
Hata akiwa sports, I hear he was not doing much because he knew ataekwa hapo internal security. Allegedly used to tell guys uko ndani ati Mr. Kapa for long.
Of course he knew.
But maybe it's just like a placeholder, but you know where the commands are coming from.
No, of course he's a placeholder. Do you think Murkomen is really giving instructions to the police?
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
If you think that genuinely,
like you need a guy who
just
just
a programs
tell people,
officer. You know a programs officer, like
someone who enforces the command.
Exactly. He's just a programs officer. Like let me tell you, there are very few people who have the aura of a minister in this government. This one. Very few.
But maybe because they don't have the leeway to portray the aura.
Let me tell you.
If you try and be the aura guy, Farouk will really come and put you back in line, you guy.
No, let me give you an example. I don't like Joho, but he has the aura of a minister.
Does he?
Yes. Joe, when he speaks, you can see authority. He's not struggling like Murkomen to be a minister. Murkomen is too young and excited for it. Joe, you can tell he has been in such positions before.
Okay,
he doesn't. True. He's not. Let me tell you,
because he ran a county for.
And I'm not talking about. By the way, I'm not talking about people you like in the job. No, like this guy, you can be like, even Oparanya for crying out loud. Like he occupies his ministry, and you can, like you know,
it's called silent power, right?
Exactly. The ones I'm talking about are these people who are so excited to be on our faces about it.
Yeah,
and
it's try like an over enthusiastic prefect.
And by the way, I say this having been a person who has a lot of sympathetic need to this government, kinda. But I can also see some of the things, and I'm like, if I was in that position, I think I would do better, or I would behave better personally. Not this the way these guys.
How do you rate these guys in their performance? You think they're fumbling the ball with bias on?
You see what we have, is we have people who are book smart in politics, but they don't know how to execute politics.
Which people are book smart?
No, I'm saying they are book smart in politics because I'm unpacking that.
Okay.
Because I know what your opinion is. You would like to say all these people are stupid. They are not stupid. They found.
No, I don't think they're stupid.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Book smart. Book smart is they did all the right things to find themselves in that position. Unanielewa? They have navigated because there are many people who wanted to be in those positions, but they have done everything right
in terms of
to find
maneuvering
themselves exactly in that position. And then now they're in this position, they don't know how to exercise power. So it's a guy who has worked hard, very hard to get to this position. Now he's been given this position, but he doesn't know how to sit.
Okay.
So
it's like breaking out of jail, but now once you're out of the jail, you don't know how to escape.
Like a free human being.
You don't even know where to go. Once you're outside the fence, you're like, sasa nitaenda wapi?
So unaanza ku feel like maybe nirudi ndani.
Because that's
what I mean. Like they were smart enough to position themselves to be in those positions. Because let me tell you, if you also think there was no competition to get there is a lot of competition to get there. They did that successfully. Now being in that position is where the challenge is. And people are struggling left, right and center. Unaona status wanafanyanga inaitwa aje, after every 3 weeks kuna ka retreat kufunza watu jinsi
okay.
how to behave to even public police communication. These guys don't know. You see, let me give you another example. Mbadi, you don't have to like him, but he sounds like somebody who is occupying that ministry authoritatively, competently. When he speaks, I was saying him, you see, I saw last year when guys were being asked, you have made proposals about taxing guys with motor vehicles. You've made these proposals about taxing guys with motor vehicles. Can you justify why I should pay tax for own? It's like I bought this trouser. Now if I want to own it next year, I need to pay a tax for it next year. And guys were falling head over heels trying to explain themselves. They couldn't explain themselves logically. Ile nye unasema huyu jamaa anajua Kenya anasema. But I've seen how Mbadi explained himself around this finance bill. There was a clip I saw that went viral where he was confronted by somebody.
Some chick.
Exactly. And then he responded so calmly, made the chick look like you don't know what you're talking about. You understand?
What's his history?
No, he's in that, like...
Is he an accountant?
Yes, finance and accounting.
CPA?
Yes, he's actually a CPK.
Okay.
For him, he was actually, even his profession was that. He was an accountant for some big NGO before he left. According to him, he said
Kenya Bees.
No, he was saying the last job he left before he became a member of parliament, he was actually overseeing revenue worth almost 80 billion.
80 B?
Yes, he was.
Where are you guy? That guy I normally judge him as the dumbest nigga. So he has experience.
No, you just need to listen to him explain financial policies and talk about it.
Oh, that's
you don't have to like him. You know, see, you have to diffuse liking him. For example, Matiang'i, I didn't like Matiang'i a lot. But I could not question his competence. You understand? There are people you don't have to like them, but you know he has even, let me tell you another guy I don't like. I don't like Rigiji. But are you doubting his competence as a political mobilizer?
Yeah, he's definitely good at it.
Exactly. So there are people you just don't have to like them, but you can appreciate that there is some substance to what he's doing, at least from his perspective. The perspective might not be the one that you like.
So what do you think Kibaki did differently? Why is he still the all-star of Kenyan economy?
You see,
and all that?
Have the benefit of Kibaki, we will never be able to, even right now, the only reason we are considering Kibaki to be independent, to be a very good president, to be honest, of all the presidents that we have, I would probably say Moi was the worst president Kenya had ever had, and not because of anything else, just because he stayed for 24 hours.
24 years?
Yes, 24 years. If you stay for 24 years, you will have 24 years to do bad things. Just purely on that. Kibaki, the reason why Kibaki is considered one of the Nini is because he's the outside child of all the presidents that we are talking other than Ruto. We will never tell Ruto is good right now because we are so full of emotions about him right now. He is acting right now. Everything you talk about Ruto, you have to contextualize it based on how you are feeling about the economy right now, based on how you are feeling about things happening right now. So you will never be able to judge Ruto while he's in power.
We can judge him now, you guy.
You can.
His family.
You can, but you will not be being objective. If you want to, yes, you can.
What do you mean we are not being objective?
No, I'm not saying you are not being objective. You will not be being objective. There is no way to judge him objectively because any policy that Ruto has implemented in the last 2 years, the ripple effect of that policy will be felt 10, 15 years from now.
Yes. But is there any solid policy Ezekiel?
To be honest, on paper, I believe William Ruto has done a better job than Uhuru Kenyatta.
In which areas?
In so many areas. You see, let me tell you, you have to understand what William Ruto was coming to do. He was not coming to stabilize something that was wobbly. He had to come and dismantle what was there. Do you know what dismantling does? There is pain to dismantling. If you are to disconstruct this building, you'd have to put down these walls and that kind of a thing. That's why he did not come and improve NHIF.
But he's not made it better. You get?
That one is, let me tell you why you are not being objective with that one. When you are changing a whole healthcare system for a whole country, you are going to experience teething problems in transition. That is exactly what is happening. The teething problems might take 3 or 4 years before you can be able to nini. But the benefit of that, you will be, if you are being fair. But you know, it's also very, if you want to feel like unionyesha mtu uniambia huyu alikufa last week
yeah. Remember the old man was weeping?
That is now the part of like, you can also have that angle. If you have that angle, then the case.
Remember the old man was weeping because he couldn't access.
Let me tell you even
his whatever dialysis.
Exactly, all those things, they are so sensitive that even sometimes you look insensitive talking about them, especially.
So how do you explain to that guy that he need to transition?
No, for that guy you can never explain to him. You don't like that guy. All you have to do, you don't have an explanation for that guy. You don't have an explanation for that guy. But also the other challenge is, let me give you another institution for public universities. Public universities no longer had money. All public universities were in debt, and they were not generating enough revenue from government. From government, because you see,
from government or from fees?
No, there is government. Let me tell you, there is government-sponsored students. Government-sponsored students means the cost of this course is 200,000 per year, but government is going to pay 160. Let the parent pay 40. Government was not giving the 160 because they didn't have money. So for that one, it had come to a point whereby we've run with the money that we have, there is no more to run with. So it had to be overhauled afresh and that kind of thing, or at least those are the explanations politicians.
But right now,
let me tell you, nothing has actually campuses right now.
For the first time, lecturers are not getting their salos.
They're still doing poorly.
Not still, they seem to be doing worse. Because like many of my relatives and friends work at Nairobi.
But it's because before things have to get better, they have to get worse. If you are dismantling something, let me tell you, when you are dismantling anything, and you know this, it will get worse before it get. Let's use the personal case of your own finances. Wewe unataka kujenga nyumba kite, you'd have to live in a bedsitter for some time so that you divert all your resources where kujenga. But it will be for a period of time before you can see results. That's why I'm saying anything you talk about William Ruto right now, it's not like these guys are politically incompetent. Politically. William Ruto and his government. They are politically incompetent because despite all that, they have not been able to manage the communication in that particular manner. In any case, unless you are saying, let me give you another example of... let me give which example for the housing levy. Do you know where we copied our model for the housing levy?
Where? Singapore?
Yes. They have laws that are very similar to ours, and you can even ChatGPT this. Compare the Housing Act in Kenya and the NINIV they used for their real estate development in their country. We have similar laws. The only difference is, in that country, around the time when it was implemented, it was a the politician in charge was a dictator come something. So it was you do it or you fuck off. Like if you are in business, because one of the things is forcing employers to pay. So it was, if you don't want to do it, we'll take your license. In Kenya, you can't do that.
You can't say we'll take your license.
Exactly. So,
but I feel like,
but they did the same thing.
I feel like in Kenya, you're right in this regard. In Kenya, we have very good ideas, right? We have a very... I hear juicy some Nigerians came to study our constitution and budgeting, implementing budgets and stuff like that. But now, the people who are supposed to implement these good ideas are the ones who are questionable. Because I remember during last year's 2020, was it 2024? During the protests, guys were saying the problem is not these taxes that we are being taxed. The problem is these guys, once they receive the money, they don't look like guys who will actually do what they are saying with the money. So like, you know the way, you know, in Europe, in Europe they are super taxed. Like half of your money goes to Gava, but you can see, hey, this road is being fixed. If I get sick, I can go to Hosi and get treatment. But now these guys have very nice proposals in regard to what, how will be taxed and what will happen to the money. But you're not seeing that. You're just seeing a guy riding in choppers. He's giving 10 milli at a church. You know, he's wearing red bottoms. So yes, we have very good ideas, but the people who are supposed to implement these good ideas are questionable in their character, you guys.
I agree to you to a large extent. The only problem I have with that, Nini, is what do you think the solution is?
I feel like we need a whole character rebrand from the bottom up, because these problems are not even from the bottom, like the bottom level of governance. Like here in Mada, we have a pothole over there, which has never been fixed for almost 20 years. I tell you why. Because there's someone clearing that portal.
No, that portal is...
So that portal, uliona ukiingia
this year
to fix that portal. So guys are just clearing. There's a budget, yes. There's a budget to fix that portal.
But now it will never be fixed. So that next year tukue na budget allocation.
Yeah, man, say you guys.
So you are...
So this person who's the MCA. Wait, let me finish my point. This person is the MCA, right? This guy is still in politics, meaning his profile is growing. So maybe he's gonna become an MP. Maybe he'll grow, become some sort of governor. Then one day he'll be president. The pothole guy, you guy. So how will he change from the pothole guy uko akiwa uko juu? He'll just be clearing on a larger scale.
Do you know what I think should change? Because I usually don't buy that nonsense of we need to a overhaul of our leadership. I don't buy that story.
We need an overhaul of our character.
Exactly. Because we've been changing, like 80% of the MPs who were there, between the ones we were very mad at between 2017 and 2022. In fact, let me tell you, from 2002 to 2008 to 2007, we only retained 20%. From 2007 to 2013, we only retained 20% of that group.
Oh, okay.
From 2013 to 2017, let me tell you, even right now, the MPs who were in parliament in 2017, 75% are home. In 2013, 2017. The ones who are there is 2018 to 2022. We retained another 20% there. Do you know the ones that we have right now from the last government, how many are they?
How many?
They are less than 75%. 25% of the MPs in parliament right now
were there last time.
So it's not an issue of changing leaders. It's
Maybe
an
it's
issue of changing.
Leaders.
If it's an issue of changing what is the right thing to do. For example, in so long as a member of parliament goes to parliament, knowing that I have to use a lot of money to get to parliament, our story will remain the same.
But that thing is global, right? Is it a global thing? Like needing
fact,
a huge...
I wanted to bring you to that other level. That is the one level of looking at it. The other level of looking at it is to imagine that Kenyans, as Kenya, the way we govern ourselves is because the way we want it. It's not the way we want it. The way we govern ourselves is in line with the biggest... Like we are plugging into a bigger... into a bigger system. The global system. And as we made our choice in independence that we are siding with the Americans. So
Via
our system, exactly, our system, like the way MPs are elected in Nairobi is the same way MPs are elected in Washington and New York. There is a lot of lobbying, there is a lot of private money influencing the decision. The moment you have
even on an MP level.
Exactly. On an MP level, who do you mobilize to pass specific laws? Let me tell you, the people who are responsible for the election of members of parliament from Kericho counties and Limuru and wherever have a lot of interest with people who control tea, coffee, milk. The people who get elected in Western Kenya have a lot of interest from the people who do sugar and all that kind of nonsense. Let me tell you, in the coast, the people who get a lot of elected have a lot of interest with the port.
Yeah, case in point, kina Joho.
Exactly. Like, you will just look at the interest areas. For example, which can give me a county and then I'll tell you who the governor is and I'll tell you who is likely mobilizing.
It's Yolo.
It's Yolo County, that's Northeastern.
So that guy is being...
Northeastern County. Let me tell you, Northeastern Counties. Northeastern Counties, we have a deal with UAE. UAE has a lot of influence in northeastern counties. Who becomes governor there because they bankroll monies over there.
To do what?
See, to influence nini.
Like how they benefiting from that area.
Ati?
How they they
are peddling religion. Influence, yeah. Peddling influence and religion. Central Kenya ni watu wa majani chai, watu wa
maziwa,
sasini, exactly, all those
kakuzi.
We are mentioning companies.
Yeah, so okay.
But you get my point. You get my point. The people who were like, let me tell you, even in Kericho counties, for example, if the tea lobby do not support you to be an MP, you are unlikely to become anything in Kericho County.
Oh, for real?
That is the when people go, the reason when people wanasemanga tunataka chama, and then the reason why it's very difficult to fight against it is because in the chama there is money from the lobby. The money from the lobby will mean that you will not need to spend a lot individually as a person.
You won't get burnt.
Exactly.
So how does that complement your point about we need to change the fact that we need a lot of money to be MP?
So that is the point. Like the point is we have to change the way our system is set up. If our system is going to be, if we have loopholes for people in business to infiltrate the politics, then they will always infiltrate the politics.
Oh, okay.
Now, unless we change that, our only salvation is to keep continually improving. Like what I like about Kenya is, as a country, we have had one thing called, even when we have had dictators, they have had allowed for incremental changes. That is our only saving grace. Incremental changes. This idea of tutaamuka kesho tupige kura, your life will remain the same. I was in this government during Kibaki's time. Not very much. I was in this government during Uhuru's time. My life hasn't significantly changed. I'm in this government right now. My life hasn't significantly changed just because Ruto became president or because Uhuru was president. And it's good, even if we remove this guy, it will not significantly change. You will still, and the reason is we think the individual is the problem, but our problem is more systemic, and then it's not systemic to the level on a
simplistic scale.
Yes, it's a large that if you were to successfully change this, you would have to change the whole chain upwards.
Yeah, but I feel like many corporates influence many landowners. Like there are some people who need specific people to be in power to continue enjoying the status quo.
Yes. One of the things that
I feel like that's a huge loophole in democracy. Yeah,
it's a very huge.
Because is it truly democracy then?
It's not. It's the illusion of democracy.
The illusion of choice.
Yeah, the illusion of choice. I also tell you this: go to a supermarket right now. Where to a supermarket utaenda unaona kuna sabuni inaitwa Sawa, kuna nyingine inaitwa Jamaa, kuna nyingine sijui inaitwa nini, and then you realize all of them are produced by Kappa oil refineries. Na umepewa brands kama 7 to 8.
Yeah, true. Like remember that time
you have chosen.
Remember that time for boycott sijui Brookside.
Una boycott fresh. Umepeleka tu pesa to the same.
You guy it was the same nigga. You guy wants the.
You understand now? Yeah. That nonsense. We have the illusion of choice, or that is what democracy is. That's why I also think democracy is the genius of the powers be, for them to continually remain in power. You know what democracy allows you to do? It allows you to manipulate. You have a right, I have a right, he has a right, everybody has a right. So I tell you, your right is this. Where sema right yako? Pigania yako. Then I leave you boiling there fighting for your right. Go and tell this other one. Hata wewe uko na right, by the way. Si yake peke yake ndio iko.
Yeah, because my
so see you are boiling over here with your right. I go and tell this other guy, by the way, usimuona anakuboilia hivi bura anakuwa mkali kwako, as though wewe una right. Hata wewe chamuka, wewe una boil, unaenda hapo hivi. Unaenda kwa mwingine. So I have now you in my palms because I know all of you nimewasha na kitu moja, nimewambia wote mko na right. It's very easy to be agitated when you feel like it's your right.
Doug has this joke about being T-boned. Unakumbuka hiyo joke yake ya T-boned? He says the way he was driving at a crossroad and then some guy akamuingia. Akamuingia kwa gari yake. Some nduthi guy. So I don't know how he transitions, but his point normally is, when he used to do that joke, he's normally say, how come I have the same vote as this guy? So that joke that joke would work sometimes with a specific audience, but when the audience is a bit walkish, they'd really be like, oh! Yeah?
Hey, what crowds don't like being told shit.
But if you really think about it, how come? Because democracy can be influenced through that's why we're saying it's an illusion.
Yes.
I can influence it.
And you know,
So I can use my 50 bobs. If I have enough 50 bobs, because 50 bobs are really good, okay, Western, Nena tuna ma 50 bob and I muaga them, and then these guys vote for me. So that means democracy is not working, it's being influenced.
No, the democracy is a tool for control.
Because how come this 50 bob guy can't reason?
You know,
and
the
say,
most powerful thing you
I
can
can't
tell
vote
somebody.
this guy because of a 50.
Do you know the most powerful thing you can tell somebody is you have the power. You have the power. Well, the moment you tell somebody you have the power, you know, he does not have to negotiate. When you have the power, do you have to negotiate or you do what you wish? When you have the power, that's a very powerful thing. And I think even our politicians use this, Sana. They use it to, like, almost effectively, Machiavellianly. The moment I tell you you have the power, I have completely removed the idea in your mind that anybody could challenge you. And the moment I remove that idea that anybody could challenge you, you become tyrannical even in your attitude. You are either with us or not with us. You are no longer willing, you are no longer humble enough to listen to a divergent opinion. Because you have the power. And you know why it works? Because you have been told you have the power. The day you don't believe you have the power, it will not work.
So we're talking about who? The leader?
No, I'm saying the way the system.
The person being told he has the power is the voter?
Exactly. But venye umesema hata wewe sahi, wewe profesa uko na power. Lakini hata ule jamaa mwenye anaweza chukua 200 atupe mawe ako na power. Munafanana. Like, can you imagine? You have told that guy munafanana. Now you still expect him to be rational. You have a right to make the right decision. He has a right to make the wrong decision. You are all powerful.
But now this majority of people making the wrong decision, now the whole ship is heading towards the iceberg, you guys.
The idea is, the moment you have several people independently thinking they have power, then what they usually do is they donate that power to a mob psychology. That is why it's very easy to vote in a stupid person en masse. And ignore a very intelligent and well calculated and meaningful person individually, even when you make a lone voice, because now you have the power. So I go out there, and then, you know, the moment you have told you have the power, they do something else. They don't just tell you have the power. They tell you have the power, but then they deprive you of capabilities. So you have the power, lakini una food ya leo.
So now I give you a
So unanielewa the way it works. Like, I have to make you believe you are clever, even when I know you are not. But for me to succeed, I have to make you believe you are clever. The moment you are clever, then I can go ahead and now ensure. See, wewe mwerevu and you have the power, but I know una chakula, utafanya nini?
Nitapea bag yenye kuna sukari na nini.
Nikikupea bag unaenda nyumbani
ukisema kuna uso yangu.
Nikikupea bag unasema nenda nyumbani ukisema. Unaenda huko ukisema nini?
Huyu jamaa
we the people have decided Emmanuel ndio tunapea ikura. Siku ile nilikuwa njaa, Titus alinipea nini? Mimi niliona Emmanuel hapa na chakula yake. And I have the power. That's why I like the idea. I don't like the idea of, in fact, even every time somebody makes an affirmative statement about how we are collective, as a collective, I just usually know it's followed up by a stupid suggestion of what we should now do with our power. It's usually followed with a very stupid suggestion. Because the moment you are told you have the power, nobody usually comes back and tell you, by the way, with that power, you also have some responsibilities. Nobody tells you that. They leave you to have the power. And I feel like the conceptual West has that as the plausible tool for control of the whole world. That is why when a country like China is so integrated like this, there is nothing that could make the US happier than if China disintegrated into smaller states. Because now what they will go and do is tell each state, you have the power, you have the power, you have the power.
They'll fuel the flame.
The reason why China is so powerful is right now when we say we are going to build a dam, yenye inapika chai kutoka Kericho, inaweka kwa dam, inaleta, alafu kila mtu anachota kwa mfereji. Have you had that thing?
No.
There is this funny guy, anaitwa Ogina Koko.
He's a comedian?
Yes, I think he's a Luo comedian. Says, mimi nikikuwa president 2042.
Is he the guy for Mercedes yangu niliacha? Niko na Mercedes hapo London.
Sijui kama ni huyo, lakini there is a guy called Ogina Koko. Says, if you go, mimi nitatengeneza hii mambo ya kupika chai kila siku asubuhi, mimi do away with that. Tutaenda tupike chai yote Kericho, alafu tuweke kwa dam. Kila mtu anamtoa chai kwa mfereji. Sasa wewe ukiamka asubuhi unaenda kwa chai hapo. Ati kama wewe ulifanya mpaka class 8 na bibi yako akafanya mpaka no, kama ulifanya mpaka class 8, bibi yako akafanya mpaka class 4. There was something about certificates.
Oh, okay.
Wewe tutakupatia certificate tutaunganisha yote ikuwe certificate ya form 4.
Oh, okay.
Juu class 8. Alafu tutakupatia photocopy, bibi atakuwa na original. He's so funny about how he says
the TikTok comic.
Yeah. So he has this idea.
You're talking about China.
Yes, for China for example, when they decide tunataka kutengeneza Adam hapa hivi, court processes become the least of their concern.
Yeah, because there's no opposing.
So they can develop their projects within 5 days. In the Western world, if I say we want to build up, we all know there is a need for this. But if
Public
somebody goes and opposes, I don't even want to, that is specific to Kenya. I'm just talking about the Western world,
okay.
Generally speaking.
Yeah, so they have to participate there. You have to have.
So you bring all these people. Now we take 3 years discussing.
Yeah. So it's
5 years down the line, China already are using the enjoying the benefits of the dam and everything else. Yeah. But our system, we are still debating.
Maybe you guy, and just to conclude, because we're about to run out of space.
Yeah.
Maybe we need some sort of hybrid China style. China, Singapore, many of these economies which seem to be doing well have a hybrid. They have it's not a pure democratic state. And luckily they have some.
Because also it's very important to have an opinion. Because you see, we take the fact that we have opinions for granted.
But I just want to leave Kite on a tarmac road, you guy. I want to drive on a tarmac road.
You know the challenge
from outside my house. I want to drive on tarmac. I want to park my car. I don't want anyone to steal from my car. All right. If I start a business, I don't want to have to bribe anyone. All right. If I'm using a mat, I just want a nice, clean transportation system where I'll get to where I'm going without, being harassed. You guys,
let me tell you why you'll never have that.
The desires we need to live on a specific level are very simple, you guys.
Let me tell you why you'll never have that.
I want to go to Hosi, I don't accumulate a stupid bill. Now I start selling my assets.
Let me tell you why you'll never have that.
Those are basic human rights.
Let me tell you why you will never have that.
How come some economies sort of enjoy a level of that?
No. You will have that, but I believe there is a different approach to that. Let me tell you, nimekusikia tu ukisema all those things. Kutoka kwako Kitengela kuja mpaka hapo sijui hakuna parking nene. You're just offending a lot of people in the food chain just talking like this.
So unaona.
Unasikia?
Like
and then the funny thing is just like you want that, they also have an opinion and a right to have what their opinion is. Do you understand? Wewe unataka barabara yenye ni safi inatoka Kitengela inakuja hivi, kuna mtu anakuja alafu anasema hapana, this is a public shamba, barabara haifai kupita hapa, inaharibu, and he has a right. Unafika hapo kwa barabara, utaki kusimamishwa na polisi, kuna polisi hapo hivi amelipwa kidogo hata yeye anataka kukula, wewe utaki kutoa hiyo. Yani the whole idea we hybrid
of states, maybe they don't enjoy some freedoms, but at least you enjoy a level of a high standard of life.
I actually believe if our government actually gave us a high standard of life, there would be little interest in government.
Yeah, which is a good thing, I think.
The only problem is these people, or maybe, you see, I like Dubai. Dubai, we all know it's an autocratic state, but we don't talk about its autocratic state.
Yeah.
We talk about how Dubai was nice to visit. And I feel like being autocratic is not the problem. I think we are fucked to some extent. No, let me give you an example. You have a leader who is elected and he knows if he's not corrupt, he might not come back the next time.
Yeah.
I want you to put yourself in the shoes of that guy. What you want is for him to be selfless and say, me wacha nisirudi next time. What he wants is totally different from that. Is like, if I have to bribe these people to get back to power.
How about if you get to power then the second term, because there's no way you're gonna get back again, so use the second term to do well.
Sometimes, let me tell you, the powers that you're fighting will never allow you to do that. Uhuru had the choice of doing that. Alifanyiwa nini? Even with his own deputy. And then suddenly you realize, oh, we have a constitution, I cannot kill them. Like, it's so impossible.
But this other guy found a way of firing his deputy.
Who?
Ruto.
Lucky for him, Uhuru didn't find that position. You see, Uhuru was dealing with a different animal. Let me tell you, Uhuru, you were dealing with a deputy who already has more members on his side than you have.
Oh, he had more members.
Exactly.
So he can pull a motion of...
Exactly. That's why every time they talked about Ruto being impeached, Ruto would appear in Naivasha with 170 MPs. And you know, you need at least 119 to sign that thing. Yeah, wewe unasema unataka kumimpeach. Anaweka press conference Naivasha with 117 members. You know, that's what Gachagua was stupid enough not to understand where his power lied. If you ever have power and you don't know ways in which you could lose that power, then you will lose that power.
Oh, you have to study how you'd lose the power, right?
Exactly. And then be in complete charge of how you could lose that power.
Yeah.
Because in politics, you can never allow anybody to, like, I'm at your mercy.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's true, you guy. Wait, Mazi, so stand up, you guy. What are you up to lately? Are you planning to do a special?
I'm not doing a special.
When are you doing your headliner nights at least?
I'll do my headliner night in September.
Umepanga? Umechukua date kutoka Mangeli?
Nachukua date kutoka Mangeli very soon. We are in talks.
Yeah, you're discussing the pros and the cons. But for real, your September?
I'll want to do a show in September, but I'll be more out artistically right now, especially for the second part of this year. I'll be doing more of this.
Okay.
Kukuja hapa tuongee.
Yeah, but now you should, Mazi. You guys used to be a member of the Bunge la Wananchi.
I used to be a vice president now.
You are the vice president. Which arm?
No,
Nairobi arm.
Like the Jivanji.
You are the vice president hapo at Jivanji. How the heck did you get elected, you guys? How did you go up the ranks?
You know, you see, umeniona hapa nikiwa kwa podcast. I can unlock levels. I can unlock levels, you guys.
How long did it take you to become vice president?
I was there around 20. Actually, I just happened to have been there when the elections were happening, and I had very good and strong opinions.
When they were electing you based on opinions? It was people...
No. So, you know,
how do they elect?
It's a CBO. There is membership.
Okay.
It's a CBO.
So the members can actually elect?
Exactly.
All right.
Our elections sometimes are supervised by IBC.
Oh, for real? Is that serious?
Bunge la Mwananchi is not as
amorphous
as people think. It's amorphous in the way they because they allow everybody to talk.
Juzi, I saw another guy. I don't know if he's the president. He was saying, if listening to me is a privilege. So, come on, as a nyamaza. Some guy wears I don't know if it's joke. Some dark guy.
And he's fat like
yeah.
It's joking.
I don't know joking. But that's a very nice place to hone your public speaking skills.
You, part of the reason why I did very well with the debates is because Bunge la Mwananchi is highly debated.
Yeah, for real. It's like an open mic.
Like I've been there. I've been in Bunge when fights broke out. Like, like ngumi. Ile yenye sasa inabidi tunaokoa mtu kabisa. And because
of what someone has said.
No, it's a very simple statement.
Like Raila Hatoshi.
It was even that one. Some guy who UDA kept talking like before 2022. he kept talking and then referring to baba ule jamaa wa kitendawili ule muganga.
There are no rules like no physical.
No, of course the rules are there, but the rules apply there amorphously. Like it's there is nothing called unparliamentary language in bunge la mwananchi.
Oh, okay.
If I want to say Raila ni malaya nitasema hivyo. Like you say like bunge la mwananchi is unfiltered. Si kama bunge ile nyona have decorum. So there was this guy who was like consistently pushing around anti-Raila narrative. But what he kept doing effectively was saying Raila ni muganga, and it was making everybody laugh. Kumbe part of the people who are laughing, somebody is really getting offended.
Oh yeah, like ya ukweli.
Yeah. So this guy continues talking, and then suddenly tu akasikia pow ngumi, what the fuck is going on hapa hivi? Wacha kuongea kuhusu Raila Amolo Odinga. Kama mnataka tupigane tutauana hapa.
For real.
Like that. And then an escalation comes in, because at that particular point there are people also, I think also they were under instructions. Because bunge la mwananchi has political interest, real political interest. Politicians send money or people there with money specifically
to push opinions.
Exactly.
But does it help? Like, do you?
It helps.
If you're a good bunge wa mwananchi,
you can never win an MCA seat in Nairobi if you have not been to the bunge la mwananchi.
So even this shouting guy was on that bunge la wananchi. That MC wa Korogocho.
Huyo
ng'ombe wa Raila.
Msikia mwenye akisema ni gunzi.
Yeah, alisema ni ng'ombe. Ati Raila akisema kitu yeye anafanya. That guy was in that bunge also.
There are people who believe Raila. Let me tell you, Raila has successfully done something politicians have not understood how Raila did it. Raila has people who will not doubt. Let me tell you, for example, Gaucho can never doubt Raila.
He'll do what he says. How did he create this fanatics?
Even if it is wrong, it is wrong, and baba anajua na amesema tufanye the wrong thing. That is,
so that's what Raila trades off, right? Like he trades. How do you think he created that fanatic following?
Part of it is suffering. When you suffer for something for so long,
you become a messiah.
To suffer for you for that.
So it's a cultic.
Exactly.
Because did you see that ng'ombe wa Raila on Obina's show?
Yeah, I saw it.
Damn.
The only problem, and here is the thing I say about our politicians. You see, I've said a lot of things that I know would rub people the wrong way if I were to go in a public function and say in this particular podcast. The funny thing is, most of the people in this government don't even know what the right thing to say when you're addressing people who have a different opinion is. That's why you have the stupid motherfucker. Like even that gunsi shouting, going and declaring he's a goon.
Yeah.
You know, being a show. Like that's, you have to be a real god, like a real one, when anakula matawi to go and do such a thing. Or the nonsense we were talking about, Kipchumba Murkomen going and talking nonsense. Like you can still,
because even name is a form of fanatic, right?
Exactly. Duale is
measured.
Okay, he's measured but also not measured. Duale is a good sycophant.
Okay.
Duale has said things about being a sycophant that sometimes I kept laughing, but at least Duale knows how to leave them. If you notice, I have a huge problem with the young politicians around William Ruto. They don't know, they don't know how to feel better after having done a bad thing. Unajua kuna mtu mwenye akikukosea, kuna venye akikuja kuongelesha hivi una feel like huyu jamaa kuna heshima kidogo amekuja nayo. Hata acha nipunguze hasira zangu. For our guys, they do some, like they do the most annoying thing, and then their attitude towards it is even worse. If the thing they did could have made you kill somebody, you would want to kill yourself for what they say after. Like it's worse. You know, naweza kukugongea gari hivi alafu nikwambia hey, pole sana nimeguza gari yako. But I could also come and be like, wewe na hii gari yako ya bei ndogo, you know, I can start telling you like that, and it will make you feel worse than even the scratch yenye umenikozea kwa gari. And I feel like that is the challenge. That's why I say we have a government that is politically incompetent. They are competent on paper for the right thing. That is why they got into power, because you cannot say they got into power in the wrong way. They used the right things to get into power, but politically incompetent to manage it.
Yeah.
And one other government that was politically incompetent was Kibaki government. Politically. That's why the country turned into chaos in 2007. Because political incompetence is doing things that you cannot even tell a reasonable person who would want to give you the benefit of doubt cannot even change your mind when you open your mouth. That's when I say you are politically incompetent. Even if I wanted to give you a chance to redeem yourself, the things you say they do the opposite. Those are politically incompetent people.
You guys, let's close it up right now. Tumepiga up 2 hours of interesting conversation. Follow Titus Mutai on his handle.
Instagram. Be the 513th and 514th and 515th follower on Instagram. It's Tito_Chief. Same for TikTok. Facebook is Titus Mutai.
I think I'll have you over again. We continue this conversation.
Yep.
Yeah, bana. So shout out to everyone who's been watching. Shout out to all the members. I've never even thanked you in public. Unajua tuko na member kwa hii podcast. Mtu amecommit a dollar and above kwa hii podcast. That's amazing, you guys.
Nice.
For someone to commit, anaeka hapo credit card. Ndio upate hiyo hako kakitu, you guys. Shout out! And if you want to be a member, just click on the link. I think there's a link somewhere which says join. Become a member. We have some good stuff planned for all our members. What else is happening? Nothing really. I think that's what's up. See you guys at the next one. Bye-bye.
Cheers.